Do expensive makeup products actually perform better than drugstore ones, or are we just paying for branding and packaging? My name is Eva, and today we're going to be looking at 3 different blushes at 3 different price points to determine what is actually value for money. To keep it fair and consistent, we're going to test each product with the same criteria. Is it pigmented? Is it blendable? Is it actually going to stay on your face? And of course, is it value for money? And everything is going to be applied the same way. Same lighting, same base makeup, and same brush to ensure that we can minimise all external variables so that we can get the best reliable results. First blush we're going to look at is the viral Rhode Pocket Blush, which you'll find at Sephora priced at a whopping £25. On first application, it wasn't that pigmented, to be honest. It was definitely buildable, which gives you a lot more control over the product, and it did blend quite easily and had a nice natural finish, which it claimed to have on the website. Next up is our wildcard, the Morphe Cheek Thrills Blush Trio, which is priced at a semi-sensible £19 that you can find in any Big Boots or Superdrug. On first application, it was very sheer. I will say though, it blended like butter and had a super natural look. It was very buildable, which means you can get some great colour out of it as well. Our final competitor of the 3 is our cheaper option, coming in at £6.99, available in a Superdrug. The Super Dew Blush Burst from Revolution, I have to say, initially really impressed me. It was very pigmented and the finish was very natural, and it blended seamlessly, holding up a better standard than our more expensive options. At this stage you might be thinking, Emma, these all look the same. And of course they do. Most brands and influencers are only showing you a product in its first hour of application, so it's hard to determine on first impressions whether or not it's a quality product. The differences become apparent over time. A few hours into the day, the wear and tear does start to become apparent on the high-end pocket blush. I think you can still see it on the face, but bizarrely it has started to feel a bit patchy, which for a high price point I wouldn't expect at all. By the end of the day, the product is not that visible on the face and it's not scoring the best on the longevity point. Morphe didn't perform much better. A few hours in, there was a bit of colour. I wouldn't say loads, and by the end of the day, it was completely gone, not even a trace. Revolution had a much more impressive start, but arguably a worse outcome in the end. Although it did have more visibility than the Morphe blush, a few hours into the day, by the end, it not only disappeared, but completely pulled my makeup patchy on the cheeks. But the question does somewhat come down to cost, which having calculated the cost per gram, it makes it much easier to assess. Although the Rhode blush does perform well, it has a significantly higher cost per gram. The Morphe blush, when broken down per gram, is actually very similar in price to the Rhode blush, despite appearing more affordable up front. While in comparison, the Revolution blush is considerably cheaper, which might justify its performance. So overall, this comparison shows that price doesn't directly translate into performance. While Rhode sits at the highest price point, it doesn't come out on top in terms of its scoring. Morphe performs well in terms of its blendability, but it falls behind in terms of its longevity and its overall value. And surprisingly, the Revolution blush, despite being the cheapest product we have, scored the best overall, particularly due to its pigmentation, blendability, and its exceptional value for money. Based on the total scores, Revolution comes out on top with a 16 out of 20. However, what this really highlights is how each product performs differently depending on what you prioritise. The best choice in reality will completely depend on what you value more as a consumer, whether that's longevity, application, or cost. And with that, I'll see you next time where we review another product. Mwah.